The moment YNW Melly turned himself into jail for the passing of YNW Sack Chaser and Juvie while pleading that he's innocent, many rappers started showing love for YNW Melly. One of the first rappers YNW Melly spoke with when in jail was Lil Durk and King Von. Here's footage from their phone call.
Oh shit, bust, you got tippy. Oh shit, bust harder than mine. It's me. It's
Shortly after, Boosie shared words of encouragement for YNW Melly by tweeting, "I'm in prayers for YNW Melly tonight. I was in the airport and he paid for my food and magazines and really showed me love and respect. He told me in the airport, 'Oh nah OG, you ain't paying for anything. I'm about to call the prayer warriors for you bro,' showing lots of love for YNW Melly. Now while it all was love at the start of the court case with support, once the evidence started rolling out, many rappers had different thoughts on YNW Melly. So at YNW Melly's latest court hearing, it was revealed that he made a crucial mistake on the night of Sack Chaser and Juvie's passings. On June 12th, a detective in the YNW Melly case stated in court he believes the rapper was likely the one who committed the acts towards the two YNW affiliates. According to court documents obtained by XXL, Detective Christopher Williams will be testifying against YNW Melly in the trial. Detective Williams is known to be one of the greatest detectives at recreating crime scenes to build an image on how certain crimes went down. Williams reconstructed the scene of the crime by using human-like figures in the same Jeep that they were driving in. He then used firearms towards the figures with everything lining up the exact same as the actual crime scene inside of the Jeep. It was also revealed that YNW Melly most likely did this act towards Juvie and Sack Chaser only 8 inches away from their faces, as Detective Christopher Williams would use a firearm towards the human-like figures, and the same after effect occurred between the fakes as well as inside of the actual Jeep that sprayed all over the side and the roof of the vehicle. Now all signs of who did the act towards YNW Juvie and YNW Sack Chaser were sitting in YNW Melly's seat. Now here's the photo of where everyone was sitting inside of the car. YNW Bortland, being the driver of the vehicle, had YNW Melly sitting directly behind him. That leaves Sack Chaser and Juvie on the opposite side of the car. Now using what's called the stick method, they used plastic sticks to match the trajectory of the firearm that was used. The trajectory from YNW Melly's seat showed a perfect match to where YNW Sack Chaser and YNW Juvie were affected once they were brought to the hospital and examined by law enforcement professionals. Also in that same court hearing, the new court documents were revealed, as on October 26, 2018, at roughly 3:30 a.m., YNW Melly was seen leaving a recording studio with Bortland, Juvie, and Sack Chaser. The 4 rappers were seen hopping inside of the Jeep on surveillance and exiting the parking lot. YNW Bortland, being the driver of the vehicle, was then seen driving on a back road home. Allegedly, this was to skip the early morning traffic. According to GPS evidence that was tracked on YNW Melly's cell phone, YNW Bortland drove the vehicle into a side parking lot. Again, this is located on a side street, making it very, very quiet and nobody is even around. The GPS evidence shared that the car was sitting in park for roughly 30 minutes. That same evidence showed YNW Melly then suddenly stepping out of the Jeep, walking around it in a circle motion twice before hopping back in. The theory is that YNW Melly stepped out of the car and used his firearm towards it, making it appear as if they just went through a drive-by by rival street members. Now as some time passed, YNW Bortland then drove Sack Chaser and Juvie to the local hospital. Meanwhile, YNW Melly, with his cell phone still in his pocket, was seen on GPS evidence sprinting home on foot. not even staying in the Jeep with his two best friends that were just in critical. 3 hours after the incident occurred, on the exact same day, law enforcement noticed that YNW Melly may have admitted to doing this in his Instagram DMs. According to the court paperwork, YNW Melly was having a conversation with a burner account on Instagram about what just happened, as the passings of YNW Sack Chaser and Juvie were just starting to hit news headlines. As reported by Complex, they stated a new piece of evidence saying there is one Instagram exchange that took place hours after the passings, which was obtained by Complex via a public records request. In it, YNW Melly's Instagram account says, "I did that," in one message, followed 2 minutes later by another message saying, "Shh." Now, the timing of these Instagram DMs is going to be getting used by the state to make the case that those messages amount to an admission of YNW Melly's guilt, as a few messages later, the man YNW Melly was talking with messages Melly again, telling him there's a Sig 9 on the market. The state will likely assume a Sig 9 is slang for some sort of firearm on the streets, as YNW Melly replied to this message saying, "I want it." Law enforcement will try to match the firearm shells that were found at the scene of the crime to what they believe is a Sig 9. But as I mentioned earlier, YNW Melly's cell phone is being used as a GPS tracking device the entire time, as Melly's phone revealed most of the evidence in his court case. In more evidence files, it states that these particular cell phones, which were both iPhone 10s, were on the T-Mobile network. And so T-Mobile has a very interesting feature where it will tell you the environment the cell phone is in. So from these cell phone records, I can tell you the exact moment Demons got out of the car and staged the drive-by location. Also on YNW Melly's cell phone, they found a video on it. The evidence report says, and I quote, "Then also, we have a video of Mr. Demons admitting to doing an act towards two individuals in the head." This video was on Mr. Demons' cell phone, which was brought to my office by Jameson Francis. And that's how we had that, and that is all of the evidence that Your Honor has. Now, sources say on YNW Melly's cell phone, there's a 15-second video. This video has YNW Melly admitting to doing it while making hand motions of him using a firearm and mocking the situation. Now, this evidence gets even more concerning after you hear what the witnesses said. The lead detective on the case said in a deposition that YNW Sack Chaser was set to receive $200,000 from his record label. The record label in question is known as 300 Entertainment. The police attempted to subpoena 300 during their investigation in order to investigate this, but the detective explained that the company refused to honor the subpoena. This is when YNW Sack Chaser's mother, Jana Thompson, then had to expand on the $200K payment. Now, though she specified she didn't know exactly who the alleged payment was from or who it was for, she said that her son reached out to her a few days before he passed. She says, "My son hysterically called me," she said. "He was very concerned about my whereabouts. He was concerned about his sister's whereabouts. He was just concerned, like something is going to happen to us. And he told me that he would not get his money." As she continued saying, "He said, I'm probably not going to get my $200,000. I'm probably not going to get my money, Mom." So around the time of YNW Sack Chaser's passing, his music career was just starting to take flight. After dropping hit songs such as Tropical and Backend, it got the attention of YNW Melly and his music label. According to records, they claim that YNW Melly could have done the act towards Sack Chaser to avoid paying him the $200K. If this turns out to be true, YNW Melly will be eligible for the penalty, as he used money as a motive. So with all of this evidence being released, we had one last rapper reacting to this situation, none other than YNW B Slime, YNW Melly's real life brother. Now, with everything looking concerning, YNW B Slime and Melly's mom did an interview on YouTube. She disclosed information that many believe she was not supposed to say. YNW Melly's mother, while on the We in Miami podcast, was asked, "How is YNW Melly holding up while in jail?" She then replies, "He's doing good. He's always in good spirits and he always calls." He then asks, "When can we expect YNW Melly to come come home. After some awkward silence, YNWB Slime was then seen clearing his throat. This was to interrupt the awkward silence in the room. YNW Melly's mom replies, "The month of May, but if a grand jury is picked fast, then April." The awkward silence plus YNWB Slime clearing his throat in the middle of silence suggests that she was not supposed to answer that. Now this could be another reason as to why YNW Melly was gonna have some sort of arrangement made for something to happen to his mother. There was a new piece of evidence coming out just last week that allegedly YNW Melly had a conversation with somebody in the streets, where he then said something along the lines of going after his mom. In my opinion, I don't believe that one bit. I watched the Melly documentary. He loves his mom. If you want to see YNW Melly released, leave a like on the video. I'm curious how many fans are watching today. Anyways, it's been District Trending. Peace.